Okay, so a little intermediate kind of advanced class today. So lots of variations for you, especially for the shoulders and the knees. So just keep an ear out for those when they come around. All right, let's start in the middle of our mats. Feet and heels all touching, all squeezed together. Let's keep them squeezed together. Draw the shoulders back and down. Let's have the hands floated away from your thighs, because you've got such a nice kind of stable shoulder blade position. We're going to roll into a slightly backwards tilt of the pelvis, which will just squeeze those bum and cheeks together just a little bit. I'm just going to gently rock the weight forward onto our toes and then rock the weight backwards onto our heels. So to start off with, we're not lifting toes, not lifting heels. We're just literally starting to push a little bit of weight forward and a little bit of weight backwards. Now, because your feet are touching, because your feet are together, this will make balance harder straight away. So let's really try to get equal pressure through both feet at the front and equal pressure through both feet at the back as you roll forward and backwards. So the next time you roll backwards, let's lift those toes up, but try to keep the balls of your toes together, the balls of your big toes, and then spread the toes as you press them forward. And let's float the heels all the way up, trying to keep the heels touching, and then gently lower down. So we're going to do it really quite slow this morning to begin with. So lifting the toes as you rock back. Spread the toes. Push the toes into the floor. Float the heels up. Keep the heels touching. On the way down, keep the heels touching. And do 2 more of those. So rolling it back, lifting it up. Keep the balls of the big toes and the heels squeezed together as much as you can. Fantastic. Now let's take the toes out and the heels out. Set the centre even more. Get a little bit of a bum cheek squeeze going. Soften through the rib cage. Go straight into a side roll down. So take one shoulder roll. Go into that lovely side bend. Just hold it there. Just to start to enjoy that stretch. And then fold. Be very floppy as you rock the weight forward. Chin down. Roll up into that straight line. Pull the shoulders back. Then pull the head up. And then go into that second shoulder roll. Follow it into the side bend. Hold. Enjoy the stretch. Floppy arm. And then just sink down. Swing to the middle and then roll up through that lovely straight line. Let's go for a breath in to shoulder roll. A breath out to fold forward all the way to the bottom. Breathe in, hold, enjoy that stretch. Breathe out, roll up, shoulders then head and then a shoulder roll. Breathing in. Breathing out all the way to the floor. Breathe in, hold, enjoy the stretch. Breathe out, lift yourselves up. Now get to the top, just do a beautiful breath in. Straight line breath out on a straight line roll down. Breathing in at the bottom again. Breathing out to curl up. Now really exaggerate the spinal movement here, guys. Breathing in at the top. Breathing out to come down. So guys, really focus on only moving one vertebrae at a time. Hold at the bottom of that stretch. And as you roll up, backwards tilt, bum cheek squeeze, restack. You're really focusing on that curvature of the spine. Last one. Focus on that curve of the spine. Hands dangling, heavy head. Enjoy the stretch at the bottom for your breath in. And then breathe out to roll up. Fantastic. Pull those shoulders back. Lift the head. Go to where your band is. Do a little cheeky roll down to pick it up nice and safely. Let's grab that. And go to one edge of your mat, depending on how you're standing, obviously in your own rooms. So, I'm going to go for a light band, because I want to get quite a lot of work done on those legs today. Actually, you can put to medium if you want to. Roll yourself down, and then very carefully step through that band. Pull it taut around the ankles, above the ankle bone, and then stand yourself up again in that roll up. So let's get our feet really, really square, hip distance apart. We're going to just drop into a half knee bend. So softening through the knees, lifting the hands, just going to help you balance this one. And we're going to just move ourselves, a little crab walk sideways. So let's take one step to start off with. Take a step and stop. Hold it there. Check the feet. So what I really would love is the feet stay straight. Very easy to turn those toes out. Now, very slowly bring that foot back in, but keep the tension. Don't lose the tension. Check the feet. If you've got it, let's keep going. So step, hold the middle, step, just hold the middle. So just kind of always giving yourself that split second in the middle, just to be 50-50 through those feet and be really in charge of that movement and relax up. About 3 or 4, depending on how long your stride and or your mat is. Let's sink in again. Step and step. Remember, we're keeping the tension on that back foot. It's really easy to let that back foot kind of ping in. Work hard to keep the tension. Stand up. One more to either side. We're just going to start nice and easy. So yeah, intermediate advanced class, but I really want to warm up through those heels, through those legs, through those hips. Absolutely static torso, stand up. And then remember, anything in the lower back, stop. It's got to all be concentrated in those glutes to begin with. Let's go for that 4th one. And up. And that should feel nice and comfortable. Let's just walk ourselves gently into the middle of our mat, stand to a bit of space either side of us. Bring our hands onto our hips and soften the shoulders down, really relax them down. So just double check you've got those nice straight feet again, still got a bit of tension through the band. And remember, at any point, just take the band away if you want to reduce that resistance. Okay, take one foot, big turn out with the toe and a big turn out with the heel, and then just quarter turn the toes away from each other. Just a little quarter turn. Soften through the knees. We're going to have some standing side leg lifts. So let's put all the weight across onto one leg. We're bending the knee that we're standing on still. We're going to straighten out the opposite leg, pointing that toe. Keep the back of the neck beautifully long. Draw that centre in and really tense the thigh of that straight leg. So you've got this really reached out straight leg. Now, without moving anything else in the body, tap the foot up and down. And that's obviously fantastic. We're just moving just the leg, keeping the control of the softened leg that we're standing on and our beautiful length through our spine. So really be very snobby in that chest, very posh looking today. Tense that thigh, squeeze that bum cheek. Let's go for a couple more. So just really working on that one leg movement only. 2, 1. Now just rest there, put that heel down. Now hopefully, if we're kind of doing everything in a nice straight line, those toes should still be in a nice straight line. If they're not, just correct them, that's fine. Let's go to the other side. Soften the knees. Rock the weight across, keeping those hips level, keeping the torso upright. Straighten out that leg, tense that thigh, squeeze that bum cheek, and tap. Good. So we're just working on just the one leg, the lifting and lowering. You know, when we lower it down, don't let the band kind of pull us and fall that foot back down to the floor. Even make the way down smooth and controlled, and then really try to make it that your upper body isn't moving. You know, if I was to just be looking at you now, just your upper body, we don't want to see that movement. I want to almost imagine that your upper body is doing absolutely nothing. I'm just going for 3 more. Tense that thigh. 2. Reach that toe away. 1. And then gently come back in again. Stand on side up. Good. So a little bit of warmth through those side pockets of the muscle. Now let's work on the old girl right at the back. So let's go to feet hip distance apart. I'll go side on just to show you. We're going to go for some standing scooters to begin with. Lovely tall chest. We're going to soften the knees. Again, just kind of always keeping that tension away from that very deep kneecap. And then fold ourselves forward from the hips. So we've got this beautiful straight line still through the torso. Now, thinking about that belly as a hammock, lift that hammock up. Really engage that tension through the tummy. And rib cage, just lift the rib cage up an inch. Just a little lift to really engage through the tummy at the front. Rock the weight across onto one side. And let's slide that leg out behind us. So the tension should be on that band. And then bring it in, stretching it out. Bringing it in, stretching it out. Good. Now we'll go for 2 more of those. So keep the foot hip distance apart. That will make it harder. Now hold and point the toe behind us. Soften the knee that we're standing on. So the leg that we're standing on is still working really hard. Now tense that back leg thigh, and we'll go for 10 leg lifts. 9. No tension in the back. It's all happening just on that single leg. 5, 4. Lift the belly button, lengthen through the back of the neck. 2, 1, and slide that leg in. Unhinge from the hip and straighten up through those knees. Fantastic. Let's go across. Same thing to the other side. So we're really going to work on soft knees, really straight torso, straight back, and lifting through that rib cage and tummy. Now guys, as you do the first 5 scooters, so just the stretch behind you and the pull in, keep the feet hip distance apart. It's quite easy to kind of scoop the leg behind us and narrow. So let's go for 3 more. Try to keep that line so the feet are still hip distance apart. Just going to challenge the hip strength that little bit more. Now on that 5th one, let's take the leg behind us, point the toe, lift the core, really center on, lengthen through the back of the neck for our 10, 9 leg lifts, 8, 7. Try to make that back leg longer. So really, really reach the toes away from our nose. 3, 2, 1, and slide it in. Fantastic, guys. Now bring the feet all the way together and just wiggle that band off. Give it a flick away and don't let it out. So even with the band off, we should kind of always feel a bit freer in those hips, yes, but definitely warm. Okay, we're going to take this upper body movement, but I'm going to introduce some leg stuff too, because again, we're working a bit harder today. Turn the toes out, turn the heels out. Do that again, heels and toes. Quarter turn of those toes. So starting off, float the hands to shoulder height as you sink into a wide knee bend. And when you're there, we're just kind of feet a wiggle around. Check. We want the knees pointing across the second toe line. And I really like the arches of your feet just gently lifted. So when we stand up again, we're kind of in our start position. Okay, let's get those shoulders warm as well. So we're going to start here. This is our start position. Lift that pelvic floor away from the floor. Turn the palms to face each other. Roll the shoulders back and down. Now, as you stand up, we're going to pull those arms up into our capital Y stretch, really melting those shoulder blades down our spine without flaring that rib cage. So really tuck the rib cage down. We're going to breathe in to lower and breathe out to come up. Great, guys. Breathing in to lower and breathing out to come up. Now, with regards to the shoulders and the knees here, you don't go as low if those knees are being sore. Now, if the shoulders, you just cannot get into this big range of movement, then please come into a dumb waiter if those shoulders are feeling too much. Or if you can get a little extra stretch on the Cleopatra arms, that's fine. But preferably, we're in this beautiful capital Y chest stretch. Let's go for 3 more. So really start pushing those ranges as you're comfortable. Breathing in, 2. Breathing out. Fantastic. Breathing in and breathing out. And just rest and circle those arms down. Bring the hands onto your hips. Squeeze your bum cheeks. Look over one shoulder. Pull the opposite shoulder back. Breathe in. Hold that stretch. Breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Turn the head. Breathe in, pull the other shoulder back, set the center, breathe out, rest, and with relaxed shoulders, just go for a little scoopy sweep of the head. 3, 2, 1. Look at the floor, and then curl ourselves up 1 vertebrae at a time. Fantastic. Let's walk those feet in. Okay, go to the edge of the mat. Facing that length, let's pull our shoulders back and down, soften through the rib cage, engage the center, lift the pelvic floor, take our slow, normal breath in, and breathe out to get ourselves all the way down to the mat. Wander our hands forward. Now I'd like to have a ball available to you, but we're going to actually sweep ourselves around and we're going to go straight onto our backs today. It's a little different in terms of our order of play. Use the hands to help you curl back if you need. Bring the heels close to the bottom and we're going to put the ball straight away in between our knees. Arms are going to go long by our sides. Pull the shoulders back and down. Very briefly, work into a couple of forward and backwards tilts of the pelvis. Really just warm up through those angles. Let's almost lubricate that lower back. Treat it like a door hinge. Open, close, open, close. And then peel up into a shoulder bridge on the next one. Backwards tilt, bum cheek squeeze, peel up off the floor. Hold at the top for a breath in. And then breathe out, reversing. One vertebrae at a time. And then roll to neutral every time at the bottom. One more of those. Breathe in, set the center. Breathe out, peel the vertebrae up. Breathe in, hold it at the top. Breathe out at the bottom. So anyone can stay at that level if you want to, but the rest of you at the top, hold it there. So we're going to stay at the top. We're going to squeeze that ball together. So really working the inner thighs. And I want you to think about your left bum cheek. So left bum cheek focus, relax it. And that will drop that hip on that side. Now the left bum cheek, squeeze it. And it will lift the hip bone on that side. Now the right bum cheek, relax and squeeze. Now we're going to keep on going, alternating sides. What we're doing is releasing and squeezing one bum cheek at a time, which will drop one hip and lift one hip. So we're kind of almost taking our hips for a bit of a walk. Left, and right. Let's go for a couple more. Now, all the time, you're still checking you've got that backwards tilt. So you're still tucking the tailbone under. And that will really work those glutes. Let's go for one more in each side. And then squeezing both bum cheeks. Peel ourselves down to the floor. Relax both bum cheeks and relax everything at the bottom. Okay, one more round with a heel lift this time. So let's curl up into our beautiful shoulder bridge. Float both heels up off the floor. Really stretch through those toes. Squeeze the ball together. Release one hip and lift. 9 and lift. 8 and lift. 7, squeeze. The shoulders stay relaxed. The neck stays relaxed. Both heels really high off the floor. 3, 2 and 1. Heels down first. Keep the hips high. Now lower the hips down to the floor. Quick knee hug into the chest. Hopefully glutes, hamstrings starting to feel tired. Let's challenge them a little bit more with a level 2 shoulder bridge. Let's get those feet back down again. Double check the hip distance apart. Keeping the ball there if you want to. Arms along both sides, shoulders pulled back and down. Curl into our shoulder bridge. Level 2, stretch one leg away. Keep the ball in between the knees, foot down. Roll down to the floor in between. Let's go, level 2 on the other side. Roll up, keep the ball there. Stretch the leg, keep the hips level. Foot down, roll down. I'm almost losing my ball. Okay, if you want to do level 2, one leg at a time, or level 3, 8 in a row. Let's go. Squeeze the ball, roll up, lift the hips, keep them high. 8 and down. 7 and down. Now really press those shoulders into the floor. Push the upper arms into the floor. Point the toe if you can, or flex the ankle if you're crampy. One more to each side, keeping the ball squeezed. Fantastic. And then gently, one vertebrae at a time to that floor. Take the ball away. Pop it underneath your head. We're going to start off by doing a little double leg stretch, but I want us to be looking at our knees to begin with, hence the ball under the head. Float the hands up to the ceiling, guys. Melt those shoulders down in place. If you can't get that full range, you can go with elbows on the floor and still do Some beautiful circles, the rest of you. Let's start. Just take the hands behind you, just behind you. Circle around a Swiss ball size. Hand over your belly button, straight line back. So we're going to start with some beautiful overhead reaches, leading into our double leg stretch. So when you're doing these circles, guys, you've got to keep those shoulder blades melted into the floor. If you're going full arm right behind your head, your shoulder blades cannot be where I want them. So really, let's work hard on this shoulder blade. Pull your shoulder blades down your spine and breathe out to take the hands behind you. Breathe in to circle the hands in. Okay, the next one you do, let's go straight up to double leg stretch, level 3. So engage the center, take one leg up to single leg tabletop. Press that rib cage, melt that rib cage down into the floor before that second leg comes up. And then just the arms again. So just the arms are going to go for our circle. But as we're looking at our knees, we keep everything really stable. Now, guys, you should be able to see your feet. If you can see your feet are too high. Let's drop them down. We want this beautiful 90-degree angle at the hips and the knees. If you're comfy, let's go to a level 4. So as the arms go behind you, stretch one leg away and then circle the arm to bring that leg back. So stretch the other leg as you circle the arms behind you. Breathe in, bring it back. Breathe out, stretch. Breathe in, come back. Breathe out, stretch. Breathe in, come back. 6 of those. Breathing in. 5 and in. 4, fantastic. 3 and in. 2, lovely. Last one. Just take the hands to the floor, one leg down at a time. Tuck the chin into the chest, take the ball away, put the head down. Squeeze the bum cheeks, lift into a shoulder bridge to put the ball underneath your bum. Bring your hands onto your hips, heels a little closer to the ball. And very quickly, just do a couple again of forward and backward tilts of your pelvis. Find your halfway position, your neutral, and set the center around that position. So let's go for just the legs to begin with. Arms by your sides, palms facing the floor, single leg tabletop. Hold it there. Okay. Press the rib cage into the floor. Now without moving the lower back, lift the second leg up. Good. Keep that control. Now breathe out to do one leg stretch. Breathe in to come back. Breathe out to do the second leg stretch. Breathe in to come back. Now see, that is a nice little one leg stretch, level 3. Now focusing on balance. Definitely don't look at me. Take the hands up to the ceiling. Now it might be you have to do one arm at a time, but that is absolutely fine. We're going to try to do double leg stretch, level 4, breathing out and breathing in. Now you've got to take your time. I've got to take my time. It's not an easy thing to do. Balancing on that ball, circling on the breath in. If you need to do one arm at a time, let's go for 4 on one side. If you're doing alternating, let's go for 8 to finish. So 4 on one side and then switch if you need to. If you're on doubles, it's 8 in total. So let's go probably halfway through, switch the arms over. If you're on a single arm variation, remember you can always do our little arms down on the floor as well if you want a little bit more stability. But when you finish, take the arms slowly to the floor, pull the shoulders back and down. One leg at a time to the floor, squeeze the bum cheeks and take that ball away. Fantastic. Just take one knee into the chest, stretch out the other leg and just let ourselves rest there for a second. Basically, the hips and the lower back really relax. Breath in, breath out. Take the other knee up, slide it away, and then again turn those knees away from each other. Just a nice little rest. Good. Lovely. Nothing to tend to pop in your arms, really. Floppy feet. Roll the knees in. And one leg down at a time. Okay, so we're going to still use the ball on this one. We're going to start off with some ab preps. So fingertips interlaced behind our head. Elbows lifted into our peripheral vision. Firmly place those feet into the floor, spread those toes, find your neutral pelvis, set the center, and then tuck the chin in, lift and float that breastbone towards the knees, and then gently uncurl. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Two more just at that level. Obviously, this is where you can stay as I start to progress it in a minute. Last one, don't move that lower back position. Good, get the ball. Put the ball in both hands. Put the ball underneath your head. Now, same thing. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. You won't go down as far, that's because the ball's there, but that's okay. It's ready for our next level, but let's make sure we're really comfortable here. 4 and 5. Don't move that lower back position. Okay, single leg tabletop now, guys. If you need to stay in single leg, please do. The rest of you, double leg tabletop. But bring the knees and the ankles together, dropping those toes, making sure we're beautifully square. Breathe in to prepare this one. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. So same thing, just the upper body moving. The legs are now just in the air. Thinking about the lower back position, we want to keep that beautiful little space underneath the lower back. Rib movement, so really glide those ribs down towards the pubic bone, breathing out and breathing in, let the ribs almost rest back up to the ceiling. Now hold it there, one leg down at a time, arms rested, shoulders rested. Okay, so that's our kind of prelim exercises. You can stay at any of those levels you want to do, but we're going to start challenging our neck stability and our abdominal stability with our next level. So let's try together. Hold onto the ball behind the head. Single leg tabletop. Really melt the rib cage down. Double leg tabletop, feet and knees touching. We're going to curl up into our ab prep. And we're going to take the ball and pass it underneath our thighs without moving anything. Hand behind the head, lower down. Good. Curl up again. Pass it around the opposite direction. Don't move the torso, don't move the head, don't move the legs. Ball back in place. Uncurl. Okay, good. To make it harder, don't go down in between. Curl up. Pass the ball. Tap it behind the head. Pass the ball opposite direction again. Tap behind the head. Pass it through. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. 4 more. If you need to make it a little easier, just pass it through one leg and then switch the legs over and pass it through the other leg. But you should be on the last one now. Unfold the head and shoulders. Take one leg down at a time and let those arms rest. Let's stretch out through the legs, and then as you breathe in, lift the ribs, really stretch through that front panel of your tummy. Arms can go behind you to increase that stretch and just really enjoy that relaxing of that middle portion, because you should be feeling quite fatigued in this front area here. Hopefully, it's a nice bit of workload. Okay, shoulders down, legs up, turn onto our side. Okay, sit ourselves up. We're going to go to a high kneel position now. So guys, anybody who is uncomfortable in a high kneel because of their knees, you can try to kind of prop up your knees with a cushion, a pillow, or even you can kind of double fold your mat. But if you're really uncomfortable here, you can still do the leg exercises laying on your side. That's absolutely fine, okay? Also with the shoulders, We are going to be going into holding ourselves out on one arm. If it's too much of your arm to ask, again, just lay on your side. For the most of you though, hip distance apart through those knees, lovely and tall through the torso, setting in the center. We're going to get our hand out in line with our knee and stretch out the other leg. So the toe, the knee and the foot are all in line. And we're going to lift the arm up to really help us lift that chest. That looks good. Rest our rib cage and tuck it in. So if you're laying on your side, it is just 10 leg lifts. If you are on a high kneel, push that bottom hip forward. Really get that bottom hip pushed forward, squeezing the bum cheeks as you go. And again, it's 10 leg lifts. 9, good. 8, lovely. 7, 6, 5, 4, keep the chest lifted. Fantastic. 3 more. Redraw that belly button in. 2, 1, and just sit down on the heels. If you're laying on your side, just stay there. Good, okay. Let's go for some side kick. Same side. So if you're laying on your side, don't move. Come back up to the high kneel. Hip distance apart. Set the center. Soften through the rib cage. Hand down, leg out, arm lift. Push that bottom hip forward. 2 variations here of the side kick. You can keep the foot in contact with the floor and sweep the leg forward and backwards, or preferably have it up at hip height. I know you can be there, you've just done it. And sweep the leg forward, flex the ankle, drive the heel back, point the toe. Forward, flex the ankle and back. So again, if you are laying on your side, it's just a side kick, level 2. You can bend the bottom knee or straighten out the bottom knee, depending on how much stability you need. If your leg is in the air and it's getting too much, you can always put the foot down for the last 2. That's not a problem. If we can, keep it up. And then when you're finished, bend the knee, gently sit back and just center yourself. Roll the shoulders, tip the head. You know, whatever it is that's feeling kind of tight. Fantastic. Other side. Okay, up we go. Take off knees, hip distance apart. That ball's going to be right in my way in a second. Hand out in line with your knee, and then leg in line also with that knee. Float your hand up, turn the chest, really drive that chest forward, and then very important, this is really important, bottom hip forward. So if you kind of look down, can you see the kind of crease in your hip? You want to see a really nice flat portion through the front of that pelvis. 10 leg lifts. So we're drawing our center in, lifting our pelvic floor up, shoulders relaxed, heads relaxed. You can put your hand on your hip if you want to, that's not a problem. It's just nice to kind of get that arm up to really stretch ourselves through. Really working on that center. 2, 1, quick. Sit back, you want to get that rest in between. Twist those wrists, shoulders, whatever it is that's feeling sore. Say sore, hopefully it's not sore, I mean tired. Let's come back up, last set on this side. Hip distance apart, good. Hands and leg out, stretch, bottom hip, push forward. So you're really doing it, and think Michael Jackson, yeah? Push that hip forward. Okay, hand up, and then our 8 side kicks. So lift it up if you can, sweep it forward, flex it back. Now all of your aim is, guys, no matter what level you're doing, feet on the floor, foot in the air, laying on your side, don't move your torso. So it's easy to kind of swing that torso around. Don't do it. Really work that center. So all the movement here is happening just on that top leg. Whatever level that you're doing, it's just the top leg. And when you're done, sit back. Good. Okay. Sitting back, and then let's go into a nice little, probably very well deserved child pose or shell stretch. So sit yourself down, really rest into that stretch. Take the knees and feet wider. If you feel comfortable, get yourself even lower again. Dropping ourselves down, lower, lower, lower. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to our last kind of intermediate to advanced exercise. And again, different variations that you can choose. We're going to start off effectively in a downward dog position. So we're going to come to a 4-point kneel. Start off beautifully square. Knees are hip distance apart. Hands are underneath our shoulder. But let's take our hands in front, about half a hand position, and wider half a hand position. So slightly easier position for those shoulders. Again, if it's too much on your wrist, you can do this on your forearm. Tuck your toes under, so slippy socks off now. Lift the chest, really important. High chest, high belly button, and downward dog. Straighten the knees, float your bum up into the air, and then just drop the chest in between those upper arms. Just let the head follow wherever it wants to. And then gently lower yourself back down to 4-point kneel. Now that can be your exercise if you want to. Breath in, breathe out, lift. Let's go with me. Breathe in to hold. And breathe out to lower. That can be your exercise. The rest of you are going to go into a plank position afterwards. So it's breathing in to prepare, breathing out to lift, breathing in to hold, breathing out to go into that full plank position, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift into our downward dog. 2 more of those. So whichever level you're doing, squeeze the bum at the bottom if you're in that plank position. Breathe out to move, breathe in to hold, and then, either one. And then when you've finished, drop to the knees and just hold that position. Okay, so there's our variations. Let's take it a little bit harder. Again, I would love to try and put a mountain climber into this. So watch the demonstration if you need to. Most of you can follow on if you want to. So we're going to come up into our downward dog position. We're going to take one leg off the floor. Just float it behind us. And then when you come into that press up, that plank, the knee travels through. Straight up into that second side. Lift the leg as high as you can go. Tuck it in to that plank position. 2 more, same side. Now you can do as big or as little leg movement as you want to. And remember, you can be on your forearms if you want to take the pressure off of your wrists. Put that foot down, drop to the knees, quick child pose stretch back. Great, guys. Okay, good. So remember, forearms if you need to. I'll demonstrate that on this next set. So everyone else, come up and go into that full plank, full downward dog position. If you need to demonstrate with forearms, here it is. Lift into the downward dog. Leg goes in the air. Tuck it through, coming through the plank. Stretch it up in between. So either version you're doing, let's do 4 in total. Please, 4 of those. Come on, guys, keep on going. Pull the shoulders back and down. Strong through your tummy. Lift that pelvic floor. Soften the rib cage down. Yes. If that leg's behind you, straighten it. Straight, 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 straight. And after the 4th one, finish. Sit back, child pose stretch. Well done. Okay, really let it rest off. Wander those hands across to one side. Walk that opposite hand forward. So if you're to the left, walk the right hand forward. If you curve to the right, walk the left hand forward. Press the palm of that extra stretched hand into the floor. Drop that armpit down into the floor. Really increase through that stretch. And walk the hands across to the other side. Walk the hand forward. Press the palm. Drop the armpit. And hold. Nice little breath in and breath out. Back through to the middle. Curl yourself up almost into a cat stretch. Flatten yourself down. Tuck the toes under. Walk the hands back. Sit back into a nice quick calf stretch. So pressing one calf into the floor, then the other heel, stretching up that calf into the floor. Equalize that weight. Drop the head. Lift the bottom. Put the heels down. Lift the inner arches. Scrunch those toes. Squeeze the bum cheeks as you tuck the tailbone under. Really curve through one vertebra at a time. Shoulders go down. Second to last, head up last, and then just finish with that little chin tuck. Let's go into the center of our mat. If you aren't already and you're comfortable there, find that halfway point, sinking straight into a mermaid stretch, but a really soft one. So soft knees, lift the chest. Really floppy. Circle the chest up, look up. So make it quite we normally do quite a big harsh stretch into this. Let's just do two more, really floppy. Imagine that arm is absolute marshmallow, really floppy arm, and then gently stand up. And again, gently, so really think like as, think ethereal. We're an ethereal fairy, floating on a cloud. I want the whole body to relax. Really soften through the movement, let all those little vertebrae muscles have been working hard kind of rest out into this last circle. Look up, stand up, hands on hips. Take a little pigeon step forward, bend the back knee, stick that bottom out behind you, drop the chest, keeping the back flat. Just find that little hamstring stretch. Lots of that shoulder bridging, so it does require a little bit of a cool down. Breathe in, breathe out. Lift the tailbone, forwards tilt the pelvis if you can. And then squeeze both bum cheeks to come up. Gently, gently, gently switch those legs over. Bend the back knee. Fold in half through the middle. And again, hold that beautiful hamstring stretch. Lift the belly button, create a lovely bit of tension. Lift the tailbone up, forwards tilt, increasing that stretch. Breathing in, breathing out, and then squeeze both those bum cheeks together. Fantastic. Take that leg behind you even further. Push the heel down into the floor and lift it. Push it down into the floor and lift it. Now push the heel down, but turn it outwards slightly, changing the angle of that stretch, and hold for 5, 4, tense that back thigh, 3, 2, 1, and lift and switch. Big strides. Try to keep that balance if you can. Back heel down, back heel up. Back heel down, back heel up, and then turn that back heel outwards, away from the midline, and hold it. Really straighten out that back knee, tensing through that thigh, pressing that back heel into the floor. 3, 2, 1, and step in. Feet hip distance apart, hands up to shoulder height. So let's stretch out those shoulders. Open up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open up. Breathe in. Lift the chest. Last one. Breathing in. Lift the chest. Stretch to the ceiling. Shrug the shoulders. Turn the palms away from each other and circle. Circle, circle, circle. 2 shoulders. Lifting up. Breath in. Breathing out. Circle down. Breath in. Hold. Float the heels. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Circle all the way to the floor. Hands on hips. Turn the head. Turn the head. Look back to the center. Lift the inner arches of those feet. Tense the thighs. Relax the thighs. Feel those kneecaps soften. Squeeze the sit bones together. 50%. Little backwards tilt. Lift that pubic bone, lift that pelvic floor up, soften through the center, soften down for the rib cage. Just melt those shoulder blades down the spine a little bit more and lengthen the back of the neck up that little bit more. Try to keep a couple of those postural elements in for the rest of your day. Thank you so much. You've worked very, very hard. And give yourselves a little clap. Well done, guys. Well done.